XRP, XLM, and HBAR, three altcoins that I've talked about for a very long time on this channel, and three companies tied to them: Hedera, Stellar, and of course Ripple. These are three companies that I foresee becoming, the Amazon, Google, Apple of the future. And as we really think about how big crypto is becoming, it's becoming massive. And the efficiencies, the tech, that's what I'm really focused on, because it just makes sense for all of this to be integrated so that we can actually utilize these projects, utilize this technology to ultimately make those efficiencies well known and take advantage of them. And in this video, I actually want to talk about what's happening right now and how the US is about to adopt these technologies. I mean, the US is ready. We just have a few more things left that is stopping these governments from integrating and utilizing this tech. We're going to talk about all of that in this video. So welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. And also for those out there that are looking for a solid exchange to utilize around this space that won't go down during, high stress times, that's, 24/7 customer support enabled, that's, fully regulated, and also US investors can utilize it confidently, Caleb and Brown might be your best friend. I've been utilizing this exchange for a little bit of time. I've been enjoying it. I know a lot of you out there have also been enjoying it. So, try it out. There's going to be a link down in the description below. Try it out. If you don't like it, ditch it. If you do like it, hey, maybe it will become your new favorite exchange. Let's dive on in, though, and let's talk about a few things. Number one, there was a recent conference where David Sachs was talking about how financial innovation must happen in the United States. Check it out.
Approach was driving this important technology of the future offshore, and we want to keep that innovation onshore in the U.S. Financial assets are destined to become digital, just like every analog industry has become digital, and we want that value creation to happen in the United States rather than giving it away to other countries.
So yeah, I mean, listen, financial innovation must happen in the US, but it must happen also globally. It's inevitable, right? This technology is inevitable to become, integrated and basically become that foundation that every single thing of value moves over. On top of that, we also saw a video where XRP, XLM, and HBAR, three big players, were mentioned on NASDAQ. Big shout to Smoke Dog for this. We have listen closely. You are watching mainstream media wake up in real time to the immense potential that ISO 20022 will bring to the crypto markets. What was once dismissed as speculation is now being acknowledged by the very institutions that shape global finance. Price is simply an attention grabber. It's what gets people talking, but the real story lies beneath the surface. Infrastructure is being built, regulatory clarity is forming, and the financial system is quietly aligning with blockchain-based solutions that will reshape global payments, trade, and value exchange. The clips below are the early warning signs before trillions of dollars in capital flow into a handful of crypto assets positioned at the center of this transformation. By the time the masses realize what's happening, the window of opportunity will have already closed. The question is, are you paying attention? And check out these video clips.
So we had these two.
Let me make sure that this is turned up so that you guys can hear it as well.
So we had these two big clumps of performance, and in between we had to be super patient. It was really a Bitcoin year a lot, although after the election, the idea of smart contract platforms and other growth-oriented digital assets gained favor. They have much more to benefit from a new regulatory pavement. So Ethereum sprang back to life, a lot of other layer ones, a lot of DeFi protocols. So the CoinDesk 20 index ended up 88% on the year. The top performers of current constituents were on nobody's bingo card, right? Ripple and Stellar and HBAR. So a lot of the names that were where there was excitement in the beginning of the year sort of switched places. So it was a very strong year, and it really provided a launch pad for 2025.
Which is interesting because we were talking.
So we had these.
Now also, over here is the second clip.
Blockchain brought trustlessness to an industry that requires trust. And for institutional adoption, we sort of have to bring trust to trustlessness, right? And collateral management, custody, execution quality, knowing who your counterparty is, a lot of bilateral derivatives are going to explode in volume, right? It's not only just going to be centralized exchanges exchanging fiat for blockchain assets. It's going to be all kinds of trading, and a lot of that for institutional adoption is going to require familiar levels of trust. Right. So that has to be married back. Index investing, I think our biggest theme last year was that people didn't know what to do after Bitcoin, and I think many people still don't, and most people probably shouldn't, right? 5%ers who are going to spend 5% of their investment time thinking about crypto, and maybe even allocating 1 or 2 or 3%, shouldn't spend the time necessary to decide whether it's going to be Solana or Sui.
I think the infrastructure plays are interesting.
Right? But which one, right? Which one's going to reign supreme? Again, I don't think anybody had Ripple and Stellar on their bingo cards for best performer out of a CoinDesk 20 last year. So index investing with maintaining rebalancing into the top performers, the biggest names, the best liquidity, right? The easiest implementation cost, which is how a lot of our indices are built. We're about to launch a bunch of new indices next week, actually, that go much broader for the professional set, for the hedge fund that has a 200 token depth, for the IPO market maker who really needs to think about not Bitcoin and Ether, but the next 100 tokens. We think serving that market's going to be very important. So correlation to those tail assets is going to be important for the everyday investor, and we're
So, yeah, I mean, listen, as we start to see a lot more recognition of these altcoins like XRP, XLM, HBAR, etc., it feels as though the world is starting to wake up to what's happening. I personally see these utility-based projects becoming far more integrated than we even think possible. I mean, even as we look at tokenization is becoming one of the most heavily debated and talked about topics around global finance. I mean, even as you look at BlackRock and Fidelity and the big Wall Street players, they're all talking now about tokenization. And they're talking about tokenization. I do apologize. I don't understand why this keeps playing. Twitter's just annoying, but they're all talking about tokenization because they understand that it's going to affect every single asset class. They want to bring all of these asset classes on chain because it also saves them a ton of money. It opens up more revenue opportunities for them. And in the long run, we know everything is going digital. We know everything's going digital because we keep hearing about it from the big players that are actually involved on the grand scheme of things. And talking more so about that, we have over here, the United States government is going to implement domestically developed blockchain technology to enhance transparency in fiscal expenditure. Choose wisely. Subjective Views posted this back in the end of January. Check this out.
President Trump, meanwhile, signed an executive order last week aiming to make the United States the crypto capital of the world, creating a working group to advise the White House on a regulatory framework and legislative proposals, including evaluating the creation of a potential U.S. digital asset stockpile. Perianne, what do you think about that?
This executive order really sets the tone from the top, which is something that's been deeply needed. Maria, you mentioned some of the issues we've had in AI, particularly in competition with China. This is not the only advanced technology where the U.S. has completely fallen behind China and other nations globally. The U.S. is not the crypto capital of the world today. A lot of the investments, the development, the innovation is not happening here. It's happening in Asia. It's happening in the Middle East. It's happening everywhere else but here. Why? Because we've had very poor leadership on this issue. So we were very proud to see President Trump come out and acknowledge the critical importance of cryptocurrencies, recognizing this is an advanced technology. It's important for the national security and the economic security of the nation that we lead in the development of all advanced technologies. That includes digital financial technologies like blockchain. So this creates and is the start of a new era, which will help bring home so much of that investment and innovation that has left the United States throughout the Biden administration.
Yeah, that's a great point. The money has left the United States, partly because we don't have clarity on regulation either. But Trump's pro-crypto pick to run the Treasury, Scott Bessent, is now officially sworn in. He was sworn in yesterday. Adam Johnson, jump in here.
Oh, thanks, Maria. Yeah, Perianne, I'm curious because you just mentioned blockchain, and in fact, Elon Musk has said that as part of Doge and trying to make government more efficient, he would like to introduce blockchain to give us a sense for where all the money's going. What might that look like if we saw blockchain somehow being used by the government?
And this is not a new conversation. We've known for many, many years that blockchains can be an infrastructure to create radical transparency, not only within our financial system to address things like systemic risk, and illicit finance, but it can also be used to make our government more efficient and more transparent and more accountable to the American people. You can track and trace exactly where assets are going. We've just seen over the past couple of days, as we've got new leadership coming to town, we're learning all sorts of things about where taxpayers' money is going to completely inappropriate places. With a blockchain, you can track where those funds go and verify with 100% accuracy that funds are going to their intended purpose. So the Doge absolutely should be looking to leverage this technology to make the government more transparent and more accountable, and ensure that taxpayer funds are used in the correct way.
So, Perry, what kind of policy do you want to see to give this whole idea legs in terms of infrastructure around crypto? Commerce Secretary nominee Howard Lutnick will appear for his Senate confirmation hearing later today. Of course, Trump also tapped Securities and Exchange Commission Republican Mark Uyeda to serve as the agency's acting chair until President Trump's choice of Paul Atkins is actually confirmed at the Securities and Exchange Commission. So I want to get your expectations around policy for crypto, given these new leadership roles, whether it's, Treasury, Commerce, or SEC.
Well, one of the biggest issues impacting the digital asset ecosystem here in the United States is a lack of regulatory clarity coupled with very aggressive regulation by enforcement. In order for American businesses and American investors to develop and build and innovate and invest in American-made technologies, they need to know what the rules to the road are, and that has not been provided. It's really not that difficult. It's a leadership issue. We know what needs to be done. The agencies have the authority to do so. We're very glad to see so many pro-crypto people coming into the cabinet, also leading other agencies, including independent agencies, who can create that regulatory clarity, provide clear rules to the road so we can develop and invest in American-made blockchain technologies.
Yeah. And we'll see if that includes mergers.
And yeah, I mean, listen, if we do start to see investments and adoption of US-based crypto, companies and projects, we definitely look at what Ripple is doing. We look at the tokenization of things. We know that the XRP ledger is right there at the forefront. It makes sense to adopt, XRP and the XRP-L. We already know that they're tokenizing quite a bit with Ripple, with some big players like Ondo that are already working with BlackRock, some of the biggest names out there that are now pressuring, the SEC to say, hey, well, we want to see tokenization of everything. You guys have to start greenlighting tokenization efforts. So, what's the deal with this? Once we do start to see those accelerated, well, guess what? The big amounts of money that we talk about quite often on this channel, that's when those big amounts of money start touching these networks. Now, also outside of Ripple, we know that Stellar has been on fire lately. We already know that they're working with Franklin Templeton on tokenization efforts. Over like $300 million tokenized completely. They're also working with the United Nations. This is actually around a partnership to create scalable blockchain solutions that drive equitable economic growth and strengthen economic resilience in developing regions. And we actually have from Danielle Dixon that this overall use case is a real payment solution for a real problem. Think easier payment distribution, cheaper remittances, and banking tools that don't require a fancy address or even a credit score. We know that Stellar is in the same league as these big players. And what's crazy about all of this is, I feel as though, a lot of people completely overlook a few players like Hedera or even Stellar in the space when we should really be focused on what they're doing. Stellar is a big player. Ripple is a big player with XRP and the XRP-L. And also Hedera is a massive player. Let's go back to January when we saw a group of leading Filipino banks, including Union Bank, Rizal Commercial Banking, and Cotillion Bank, are set to launch PHPX, a multi-issuer peso stablecoin on the Hedera blockchain. These big players like Hedera are now being tapped in by massive players out there in the banking and financial world. Not to even mention the fact that Hedera did announce a partnership with Equity Lab, NVIDIA, and also Intel around verifiable compute, which is going to audit and govern AI workflows, leveraging Hedera technology. I mean, guys, the big players are now tapped in. Also, tokenization on Hedera is going crazy with billions and billions of dollars now starting to be tokenized with Hedera. For example, Voltic The World Gemological Institute has partnered to tokenize $3 billion worth of diamonds, gemstones, watches, and jewelry as RWAs on Hedera. All of these players are now being tapped in, and it's only a matter of time until the government starts to take these companies very serious. I think that they're already starting to realize them, and I think that's only a matter of time until we start to see the U.S. really implement and adopt and utilize some of these technologies. But focus on XRP, focus on XLM, and focus on HBAR, because I'm telling you guys, there's a huge target here that a lot of people are just completely missing. We are in the beginning stages of some of the biggest moves to happen around this space. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, set notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.